everyone. Welcome to today's episode of Unraveling the Veil with your host, Katie from the yararose.com website. That is YARAROSE.com. You can also follow me on @YaraRoseHealing on both YouTube and Instagram to keep up with what's going on with me. Now let's get to today's episode. Hi, everyone. Well, so excited for you all to be here today. I want to talk to you again about perspectives because and I know I'm sorry, guys, but I'm really into this dream analysis lately, and it's the way that you can communicate with your unconscious mind and try to get more fully in alignment. And recently, my dreams have been pointing to a reminder that your perspective changes everything about anything you're looking at, anything, whether it being an actual thing, a situation, a person, a relationship, a career, anything. You would benefit from stepping back from your current perspective when you notice that it doesn't feel good. My dreams are telling me that I need to step back when I start feeling a negative emotion or a very strong current of energy, it's momentum going one way when I have an experience or something, I'm looking at something, because that means I have some sort of, I want to say like an established pattern of thought, right? Your habits become your thoughts. Or like, how does it go? Watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. Watch your character, it becomes your destiny. Sorry, I had to look it up because I have that on my wall and I don't even have it memorized. But when you realize that you're having a reaction that's not one that you would prefer to have, usually it's because you are on some level looking at that thing from a specific perspective. And when you and your higher self are looking at the same thing and you feel that discord, that unpleasant feeling, that's because you're not looking at it from the same way. And that's an opportunity for you to shift your perspective and ask yourself, how else could you view this? What is the lesson in this? What is this trying to teach me? And it's kind of funny because I had a dream, or it would have been Wednesday night into Thursday, that there was a set of soldiers, one's coming vertically and one coming horizontal, and they're going to meet on this, like the bridge. And in the dream, it had that dramatic music that you would have in a movie if something catastrophe was going to happen, like something really bad. It like builds up momentum. And then all of a sudden in the dream, they came and they merged. And what it ended up being was they were on the same side and they were just changing of the guard. They were switching their shifts. And they say goodnight or good day or whatever it was, past each other, and stood there like check in, like this is what we've noticed, da da da, and then went on their way. And here it was like, wow, well that was interesting music to have playing for that type of thing. But it was just another one of those. Sometimes our thoughts in the way that we're seeing certain people or situations because of our history is impacting the type of music per se in this example that's showing up when it happens. And it's a reminder to be aware that maybe that film score that you have built up in your head for that type of scenario is completely wrong. Maybe it served a purpose in the past, but it's no longer serving a purpose now. And that's part of your awareness and your evolution, is to notice when you're having a reaction that seems out of the ordinary, extreme, more powerful than it should be given the actual situation that happened, the actual circumstances of so-and-so said hi and I wanted to bite their head off. Well, that seems a little weird, right? Why would you want to bite someone's head off when they say hi? What's behind that? And is it time for you to address the underlying feelings regarding that and why your perspective is the way that it is when it comes to that? And if you did, how could you grow and evolve from that? What places could you now go if that no longer affected you? You know, it was really funny because I had that dream, and then in the same sequence, I had another dream where it was like I was a little girl and I hopped off a roof. And from the one angle on the roof, it looked like I was gonna fall and break my leg or who knows what, right? I'm just a little 7-year-old girl diving off the roof. And then it like did an angle shift where then I could see that the little girl was fine. She jumped into a loader bucket that you couldn't see from this side. And then the loader bucket lowered her down to the ground and she was off playing with the dog. So if I had not shifted my perspective from the camera that was showing the roof, I would have thought that little girl was in danger. I would have thought that something bad would have happened. And then it just did this little switch on me, and I could see that that wasn't the case. So it was kind of interesting because then that Thursday I woke up with that, and I kind of analyzed it, and I sat with it, and I had that in my mind to continue to question my initial reactions. And I was getting ready to go on vacation, and all of a sudden I went to lock up and I scratched my finger really bad. And I was like, oh my gosh. My instant reaction was like, this is not good. You're getting ready to leave and you're having accidents like that. Now you're bleeding, and that's going to put you behind. And like this, there was this whole thought process that came through my head. And I was like, wait a second. And I remembered my dream. I remembered the thing I had come up with, the analyzation. And I was like, oh, wait, how can I look at this from a different perspective? How can I learn to surrender my initial reaction that seems a little out of the ordinary? How can I surrender this reaction that's a little extra powerful than it needs to be when there's a bump in the road? Instead of catastrophizing that it's an omen that all these bad things are going to happen, I could just say, you know what? Sometimes things happen, and I can let it change or alter my mood for the rest of the day. Or I can just say, oh, guess I needed to stay home a little bit longer. I don't know why, but maybe I just needed to stay home just a little bit and deal with my bloody hand and take care of it before I leave. And that's what I did. And it was fine. Actually, the ride here was pretty awesome. It's probably one of the best rides here. It was so smooth. It was effortless. I didn't have any issues. And I didn't let that bother me. And then it was awesome, you guys, because then I got to the cabin and a message from at home that was like, hey, we need to call you, something happened. And it wasn't a huge deal, but it was just one of those things where it was like, you can let this get you down. You can let this be like, oh no, this is a bad omen, or you can shrug it off and keep going. So I don't want to I really don't want to annoy you guys to no end with the fact that your dreams really are helping you become more in alignment and having a more effortless life. But in my experience in the last 6 months, when I analyze these dreams, I reflect on the lessons, I reflect on the questions, and I integrate them with my waking reality. I am having so much better of a time staying in alignment with my higher self, staying in alignment with spirit, following and pursuing my dreams and the nudges that spirit gives you. It's been really awesome. Very cool. And I just wanted to share that experience with you because I found it to be so helpful, and just keeping in the right perspective, keeping in the right openness, the right mindset for the trip and everything that I've experienced while here. And I asked Spirit what they wanted to share with you today on July's episode, and I felt like that fit in with the whole sequence, and that's why I also wanted to share it with you. So the first message they gave me was the horse message. It's about freedom and strength. And it says, like the horse, release yourself from constraints and pursue the life that truly belongs to you. Nothing can stop you as long as you dare to chase your dreams. Power and freedom will be with you. So it's just kind of, nothing can stop you as long as you dare to chase your dreams and release yourself from constraints and pursue the life that truly belongs to you. So the part that I was like, I saw the horse when I saw that, release yourself from constraints. And to me, that was also those habits, those patterns of thought that we kind of unconsciously let drive because we have them, we feel them, and then if we're not conscious, if we're not aware, if we're stretched too thin, we can let them derail our days because we'll let that little thing bother you and you'll focus on it, and then it will fester, and then it will cause other things of the same vibration to come in, and that's how your day can go downhill really quickly. So it's like, oh my gosh, this is so perfect for what happened to me last week. I really want to share the story with you all because it's so fitting, and I felt like that was a nudge from spirit that, hey, this is what I want you to talk to them about. So maybe somewhere in your guys' life you're also experiencing this, and spirit's giving you the opportunity to really be the conscious creator in your life, the deliberate focuser on how you want your days to go, how you want each moment to go, by choosing to be intentional and choosing to step back when you need to and reflect on your response and have it be a conscious and deliberate response instead of one derived from old patterns and things that are going to keep you in the same loop, the same hamster wheel, and instead of allowing you to expand and get break out of that box. The second card they sent for you today is the full moon. It's about illumination and completion. It says to reflect on your achievements and give thanks for the growth and effort that brought you here. You may experience emotional release, and this is a time to celebrate your results and let go of the past. So again, you guys, if you've been listening to me for any length of time, these are similar messages that Spirit's been sending us. And it shows that you've been doing the work. You've been being more conscious, more deliberate with your responses, and to celebrate that. It's a journey. There's no destination where it just stops. Trust me, if there was, I'd be trying to get there as fast as I possibly can. And every time I do get on that boat, Spirit reminds me, there's always going to be more healing to do. There's always going to be more of your history, little things that will pop up and say, hey, remember this? Hey, remember this? Do you still want to carry this with me? Because as we grow and evolve, we're still taking every little bit with us. And if we didn't unpack it back then guess what? It's luggage that's going to be unpacked in the future. And even when you think you've unpacked that particular one, I know I have unpacked the worthy one multiple times. And there's always another level. There's always a question for me of what am I worthy to do that? Am I worthy to do this? And it comes from a history of always telling myself I wasn't worthy because of what happened when I was younger. I wasn't worthy because the church I went to was constantly telling you that you had to do 1,000 different things to be worthy of God's love. And it was just all these little things that have been with me throughout my life. And then there's always a new question of, is this true for me? Do I want to continue carrying this? And if I were to let it go, what would my life look like? Well, why don't I try? Am I safe to try? And it's more than just asking yourself those questions. You have to follow through. You have to take the step. Sometimes you run into a brick wall, and that's where EFT tapping helps you. That's where emotion code helps you. That's where Reiki helps you, because it helps you to release that hidden behind the scenes energy that's running your life that you don't necessarily see and you're not necessarily aware of. The last card that Spirit gave you was the Eagle card, and it's about vision and foresight. And it says, look beyond what's in front of you and dare to pursue bigger goals. Not only see the immediate opportunities, but also have the courage to envision the future. Don't let current challenges limit your flight. Rise above and find a broader horizon. I feel like that's what we've been talking about this whole time, is how to release these old perceptions and the beliefs that they're stemming from, the energies that have been built up. Imagine if you had a four-wheeler trail and you had went over it 1,000,000,000 times. It's going to be very compact. Your four-wheeler is going to get to that trail and the tires are just going to fall in those tread lines easy and effortlessly. So as we decide that this trail is no longer in the best interest of ourselves, we are going to make a conscious effort to not follow that initial reaction when something happens. We're going to try to go right instead of left. And that may feel scary. You may have butterflies in your stomach, like, ooh, I don't know, it's so scary. I don't know if this is right. And you are going to be faced with a similar position over and over and over again until you get enough momentum on the new track that it's easier to follow. Because at first, your tires, if you're not paying attention, they're going to fall right into that old track and you're going to go this way again. And it's okay. You guys, we all slip up every once in a while. Like, that's totally fine. Spirit's going to give you many opportunities to create this new path and to make that your path. And you know what? Once you get that right one being your path, there's probably going to be a new one as you evolve that looks completely different. And maybe that's more to the right, or maybe that's a little bit to the left. I don't know. But you're constantly evolving. As you grow, as you change, as new lessons come into your life, as new opportunities happen, your old stuff's going to be coming up. And it's up to you whether you dwell on the patterns and the beliefs that were once established, or whether you create new ones, whether you decide intentionally that that's no longer going to serve you and you continue choosing a different thought. And you know what? You're going to feel a little uneasy because it's brand new, because you're blazing a new trail. But at some point, that's going to become comfortable, and that's going to be your new one. And then it'll be time to start over. I think this is perfect because it demonstrates each step. It demonstrates the fact that you have these old things, but you get to choose whether you let them limit you, or you get to choose your new kind of freedom. And then there's the integration process, the recalibration, is this new path the path that I want to continue on? And look where I have grown. Look how the different areas in my life that are different because I have chosen this. And once you get that little bit of momentum of seeing like, oh my gosh, this changed because I did that. What else could I change? I wonder what else I could do. And then that's where the sky's the limit. You can do whatever. Whatever your belief system is, you are able to change it. You're literally neuroplasticity. You are changing the chemistry of your brain every single day by creating new directions, by choosing differently, by being intentional. And your life, after how many of these, is going to look completely different. But you don't have to be scared because it's going to be step by step by step by step by step. Integration. We're integrating all these changes. And that's exciting, y'all. It's a little scary, of course, but it's exciting because you're choosing the path that you want. You are your own hero in your own story. This is your story. You're curating it with your thoughts. So why not start being more intentional? Why not start making them more to where you want to go rather than letting these unconscious things from the past dictate your future and make you feel like you're living the same life over and over and over again? It may not be the same characters, y'all. You may break out of that one and then all of a sudden, because you didn't fix something, you have another person that's acting the exact same way. And you know what that means? It means there's something in you that those people are reflecting back that is ready to be healed. It's ready to be addressed. However, you have found that reflecting and healing your insides to make it more peaceful and vibrant. I'm not sure. I do emotion code, I do Reiki, I do EFT tapping, I do journaling. If I have really strong feelings about something, I will write them down because in writing them down, it gets them out of your head and your head feels more free. And then what really feels amazing, if it's really toxic, is then you burn it in a safe place, in a safe environment, a fireplace or in a fire pit or something. You burn that and you release that energy out. It's no longer in you, eating away at you. You got it out, you released it. There's so many different things. And I know that not everything is going to work for all of you that I've mentioned. Maybe something completely different will work for you. And that's kind of part of the fun of the journey is we all have different journeys and we all need different recipes to make us feel better. And the goal with Yara Rose is to address your belief system and create the life of your dreams. It's always been my goal. And that's why Unraveling the Veil is the way that it is. That's why I post all of these things, is just to give you a different perspective. It's a conscious decision you make every single day. And it's whatever works for you, whatever makes you have the best life possible. That's always what I've been trying to encourage with my stories and with channeling spirit for you, and just offer you a different perspective than the one that your mind tells you, because one that your mind has been telling you that story based on how to keep you safe, which is usually in your comfort zone because of all of your past traumas. And surviving is one thing, but thriving is another. Like there are periods where we are just merely surviving, and that's okay. But do you want to be just surviving your entire life, or do you want to step outside a little bit and thrive a little too? You really truly are writing your own tale. How do you want your story to go? Only you can say, only you can tell me. Spirit says they love you, they have your back. Please don't feel bad about reaching out. Don't hesitate. They love to help us. So they're always there with us. I hope that this helped you all on your journeys here this July. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode. I wish you the most love, light, and inspiration. With all of my love, Katie.